Hello, and thank you for joining us on the Nikki Maduro Show. I'm Nikki Maduro. She's Kim McAllister. We are here to rock all the latest news and nonsense that's happening all around the world. So I hope you had a great weekend. It was a lot of graduation parties.
Well, it was so graduation mode. I had a 6th grade graduation,
Yeah.
and I had, which let's talk about that for a moment.
Okay.
And I also had a high school graduation going on. So there's a big debate over here about whether 6th grade graduation deserves to be celebrated. My husband's like, this is not a graduation. Like this whole 6th grade and 8th grade graduation, that's BS. Like the graduation is high school. And I'm thinking, why wouldn't you take the minute you leave one institution and go to another, you celebrate it. Like that's, I mean, I remember I had a 6th grade graduation and an 8th grade graduation, and you moving up the ranks to different schools. But he's like, no, 6th grade graduation, that's a waste of time. Like, why is there even a party for this?
Why are we sitting here doing this? Yeah.
I disagree. So we have a big disagreement about,
Well, I didn't have a 6th grade. I went to a K through 8, so I only had an 8th grade graduation, and we had a party, and then I was going to high school. I mean, it wasn't as big as my high school graduation, which was fun. We had a huge party at my parents' house when I graduated high school. Right. And then when I graduated San Jose State, we had a party. I mean, but I also did the smaller graduation of just my school, my journalism school. I did not do the gigantic June. I was like, I don't care. I don't want to sit out in the sun. I don't want to sit through all these friggin' names.
Yep.
Yeah, it didn't seem fun to me. Again, I think we talked about this last week. I will watch my children in the hot, hot sun. Your child, send me the link to the freaking thing. I want to sit in my house. I want to have a cocktail. I will cheer. So I will yell so loud, but I am not sitting my ass in that baking sun to hear your child's name for half a second. Like, it's just not going to happen.
For my niece, we rolled up and we were parked more closely than we were when my nephew graduated from high school. Like, we were closer to the stage than when we were in the stadium, if you can call it a stadium, at the football field at Petaluma High.
Okay.
This was like the parking lot so close to the field, and you could sit in your car with the windows rolled down and hear everything and watch everything on stage. So David goes, do we even need to get out of the car?
Exactly.
We're like, let's get out of the car when they start calling names so we can cheer for her then we'll come back in. And I'm so glad we did that because my sister got so sunburned. Like she got fried. Yeah. Because they didn't have enough umbrellas and it was just out on the black asphalt. It was just hot.
They always do that. It's so hot. And what I don't understand, and I don't know if the high school had an indoor gym, but like, can we not do something like that? I don't know. Indoor venues, put up some sort of shade structure. But anyways, I was loving seeing all the graduation photos of all the graduates, the shaking of the hands. And so congratulations, whether you're from 6th grade, 8th grade, high school, college. I'm so happy for everyone that was able to celebrate. I know it was a busy weekend. Did you do anything fun celebrating Kim McAllister for her birthday?
We were supposed to, and then Jacob got a little sick.
Oh, boo.
Trouble breathing.
Kids always ruin everything.
I know. So no, not really a big celebration. My big celebration happened on my real birthday with everyone here who came out of the woodwork to say happy birthday. And
good.
I'm telling you, like this show and Mark's show and the after party, like it was a birthday bonanza. So it was good.
Yeah. Well, have you been able to swim yet?
No.
OMG. David?
No. Listen, the pool is blue. I'll tell you that.
Okay, so there's progress.
It's blue, but it's just not quite ready with the chemicals yet to be dipped a foot in.
You can't get in there yet, too chemically.
Yeah, too chemically, and he has to like skim all the stuff off the top. So it's almost ready. It's almost ready.
Well, there's another heat wave coming. You know what I mean? So you got to get that pool ready. I mean, if I had a pool, that thing would have been ready already. But anyway.
Oh, I know. Trust me. You would not have tolerated it not to be ready. But I'm like, the guy works. And I'm not going to get my ass down there and do it.
I get it. Blah,
I'm looking for a pool boy, though. So if anybody knows a good one, let me know.
There you go.
A pool man, I should say.
A pool man. Or a pool woman. I mean, I know.
I'm an equal opportunity employer.
Exactly. Hey, it's a good high school job for kids too, by the way. So you know what? Get into that. Now this summer, my kids off doing everything, their hands out all the time. I'm like, you guys are gonna have to start working because geez Louise, too much. My son just turned 13 yesterday, so he got some money, and I'm like, that's your summer money. I'm not giving you money all summer long. It gets expensive, these freaking kids. I'm telling you.
Julia wants this lip gloss. That's called Summer Sunday or Summer Sunday something.
Okay.
It's $24 for a little tube of lip gloss.
Okay, so it's a fancy schmancy one.
So it's a fancy lip gloss. So she gets one. But she puts it on every 10 seconds.
Oh,
it's like there's layers of lip gloss on this kid, or like, I don't know if you like, things would probably slide right off her face.
Right.
And she keeps applying it. And I'm like, no, stop it. First of all, you're going to waste all your expensive lip gloss. Second of all, nobody needs that much lip gloss. She's like, it's not lip gloss, Mom. It's a balm. I'm like, well, you don't need that much balm.
Balm. Yeah, exactly.
You know, you just don't. She's constantly applying it. I don't know.
It's probably becoming like a habit. Now she's just constantly doing it.
This is your one tube.
Exactly. We're not buying another one. If you want another one, do some freaking chores. All right. Well, something else is happening today, more serious than birthday parties and graduations, of course. Donald Trump is undergoing a probation interview. Apparently, this is required before he's sentenced next month. He's going to do it by a computer video. He's, according to one person who spoke on the condition of anonymity. His lawyer is going to be present. People convicted of crimes in New York usually meet with probation officials without their lawyers. But because this is Trump's case, the judge said he would allow the lawyers a presence there. I'm really curious if this is going to lead to more outbursts from Donald Trump. I mean, it has to be crazy to go through the process of being a convicted felon. Like, I don't believe he's going to serve any jail time. I don't. I would love it. I don't. But to go through these processes, and I know it's a probation type of thing, but it just kind of seems this is historic. And I know also this week the jury in the Hunter Biden case is going to be getting they'll be deliberating. We'll probably find out this week whether or not he's found guilty or not. He only needs one sympathetic person who's going to believe that he didn't really believe that he was lying when he checked the box that he wasn't addicted to drugs. Just on a little side note about the Hunter Biden case, it's a really interesting argument, right? A defense to be like, well, I didn't think I was an addict. Like, I can kind of believe it, right? It's kind of people that don't believe they're alcoholics. Like, I could quit anytime. Or people are like, I'm not addicted to smoking. I can quit anytime. I only smoke socially. It's like, nah, you're addicted. Like, you should just know that you're addicted. So can you kind of buy that argument that he didn't believe it?
If you're addicted to drugs, and I say this as because I'm uneducated on the fact.
Okay.
If you're addicted to drugs, that means you're often high, right?
I would say so most of the time.
Probably most of the time you're high.
Right.
So then you get this form in front of you. And I would argue that most likely you're high while you're filling out the form.
Right.
And they say, are you addicted to drugs? And you're like,
no.
Right? I mean, I don't know. Can we be held accountable for filling out a form when we're loaded?
Exactly. That's a good point, too.
I just ask you this because I don't know.
Well, I don't know either, but I kind of feel like in his brain, you could believe. Now, I'm not saying I do believe this, and I would have to be like part of the jury to really try to, nail down how I actually would vote on something like this. But I could believe that a drug addict, similar to someone that's addicted to other drugs, like alcohol. I like the alcohol analogy because I know I personally know a lot of what I would deem functional alcoholics, right? Like
people that are in denial, that think I don't have a problem or type of thing.
Drink a lot, but they're not actually visibly drunk. But it's like, you do realize that you've been drinking all day, every day.
Sure.
And I knew somebody that very close to my friend group that was like that. Yeah. The minute the morning started, cracking a beer. Drank all day. Now, if you saw him, he wasn't stumbling over drunk.
Sure.
Alcoholic. Like,
that's your status quo.
That. But if they go to work every day and come home and put food on the table and they're doing all the things that you're supposed to do you fully believe that you're an addict or an alcoholic or something like that? Right. So that argument can be made. And I could see that he could possibly convince one jury member to be like, yeah, I could buy it. Or just your argument also. Like, I don't know, I was high.
I mean, I would ask him, do you even remember filling out this form?
Right. You know?
What was your state when the form was filled out? Were you in denial?
Yeah.
Were you lying? Or were you high?
All of the above.
A, B, C, and D.
There you go. And then there was this, and I don't have the video up, but I could just paraphrase. Donald Trump was doing some sort of interview, and they were bringing up Hunter Biden and like addiction and things like that. He's like, I know exactly how not to become addicted to things. Don't even start. It's like, where have I ever heard that genius idea? Like, you know what I mean? But exactly, like, obviously, Trump, he's like, there's this really weird trick that you'll never be addicted to cigarettes if you never start smoking cigarettes. Obviously.
If you don't start, you never have to stop.
Exactly. And he tells this story about how he had this friend in college who didn't like the taste of scotch, I think. And he's like, but he wanted to, rub elbows with all these businessmen and all that sort. So he started drinking scotch. And then by the end of his college career, he was totally an alcoholic. And I was like, okay, well, yes, but once you're in the throes of an addiction, it's kind of hard to be like, you just shouldn't start in the first place. It's like, that ain't helping Trump. But, he's addicted. He's an addict. He's addicted to lying. I honestly firmly believe that Donald Trump doesn't know how to not lie about everything. Did you see he was at this rally? He totally lost his crap. This was it was yesterday, Sunday in Las Vegas. He was giving this speech, and he's pissed off because the microphone's not working and the teleprompter is not working. Here he is. I'll play a little.
Truckers come to see me. They say a truck going to California.
I don't know what I'm going to say here.
They like that. Tell them to make the microphone louder. Terrible.
It gets better. I don't know what I'm supposed to say because
he just came up. Are the teleprompters not working? So not even a little bit. Great job. And then I don't pay the company that does it, right? And then I end up with a story Trump doesn't pay. I don't pay contractors that do a shitty job. And that's a shitty job. That's a shitty job. You can't read a word. But you know what? It usually ends up that the speech is better. It's crazy. Then they'll say, oh, isn't it terrible? Trump takes advantage of his No, I take great. When I have a good contractor or a subcontractor, nobody gets paid faster. But when I have contractors that do this kind of work, you can have them.
Like,
could you imagine if Biden was up? He's no good with a teleprompter. He's the worst I've seen. But could you imagine if the teleprompters went off? Here's Biden. He's okay,
we're done. But okay, the reason why I also wanted to play this is I remember when Trump was always like, never use a teleprompter, right? He was like very, very anti-teleprompter. And I found it so weird. I had this video. Here we go. I love the title of this video, Donald Trump's complicated relationship with teleprompters.
Well, nobody cares. They can make the same. They read the same speech. They have teleprompters. I say we should outlaw teleprompters for anybody running for president.
Okay.
We're talking, you don't have teleprompters. I don't have teleprompters. If you run for president, you shouldn't be allowed to use teleprompters. You shouldn't.
And I don't believe in teleprompters, although it's very easy. Oh.
You shouldn't be. You know how easy that would be? Instead of this, I'm working my ass off. Okay. In fact, if I would have known teleprompters, I would have used them. I've started to use them a little bit. They're not bad. You never get yourself in trouble when you use a teleprompter.
But he ran into trouble eventually.
So the teleprompter's a bummer. It doesn't work. Get this thing out of here, will you? From Cornwallis of Yorktown. Our army manned the air. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do. The prompter went out. So I had. Yeah, the teleprompter went out. It kept going on. And then at the end, it just went out. It went kaput in the accounting. Patrick Henry from Louisa County. George Mason from Fairfax County. George Wythe, W-I-T-H.
Why? W-Y.
It's a great name. From Williamsburg.
No. So, yeah, he's just an asshat. But, yeah, we'll see what happens with the Hunter Biden case, his probation. He's going to be sentenced next month. And he's just going to continue to go off and off and off. So I just had to get a little giggle at his expense of all that.
So, you think you're running for president, right?
Right.
Or you're in the national spotlight.
Right.
You got people around you working. You've got they've got a backup plan for you. Mm-mm. We know from news, we're reading off a screen, and sometimes the computer just goes blank, black screen of
nothing.
Death. There's nothing there. Well, what do you have? You have a stack of news stories next to you, so that when that happens and it will eventually
happen. Exactly.
You kind of awkwardly pause for a moment. You take up your next news stories and you carry on reading your news stories until your time is filled and you have to go to commercial, and then everyone panics and tries to fix it.
Yep.
So, and that's just me. Like, I'm nothing. I'm nothing to nobody, right?
You're everything to us.
But I was in the San Francisco market. We're not talking like a national spotlight.
Exactly. Yeah.
One radio station in a pretty big market, but still, like, it's nothing.
You think he'd have his speech printed out?
Like, they should have, or little 3x5 cards, and we have a backup plan. Listen, if something happens to the teleprompter, you see these bullet points right here?
Right.
You can ad lib off of these bullet points. You're good to go, and then wrap it up really quickly. And it won't be a national embarrassment.
Exactly. Well,
but how many times did you see that happen over and over again, and he gets caught with his pants down and he doesn't know what to say?
Exactly. I would have a better team next to me. That's absolutely sure. But yeah, I mean, I love it because I love seeing him, flail around for the words or whatever. But it's not an easy job. And I love that you brought up news because you know what else was happening? Well, I know this was announced last week because I guess I watched the morning news, but it was announced on the evening news. A longtime Bay Area anchor, Julie Hayner, is retiring from KTVU. If you're from the Bay Area, Julie Hayner is retiring. Ken Wayne from Cron 4 retired, I think last month, but recently. But you know what I found interesting? And I don't know if I'm going to be sexist or whatever with this comment. But we know how old Julie Hayner is, and I can't figure out how old Ken Wayne is. And it pisses me off for some reason. Like, I'm like, well, how old is... So Julie Hayner is 56. She's 56 years old. So definitely, way before retirement age, like you can get your Social Security retirement age. I don't know if Ken Wayne is older than her, but I'm telling you, I was Googling, I was searching, and I guess I could do the math of like if he graduated then, that sort of thing. But it's like they don't spell it out. How old is Ken Wayne? Well, we know Julie Hayner is 56. And I don't know. It bothers me. Women in media have it so much, especially television media, have it so hard. It is the number one reason why I never went into TV news is I never wanted to be on camera and be judged by my appearance before my job. Like I could do the best job ever. And because I wear my hair a certain way or I have too many wrinkles on my face, then all of a sudden, I mean, she's gorgeous. I mean, Julie Hayner's not the one I'm talking about, but like
age where they want you to be something. Like they want you to have fillers and they want you to have plastic surgery and they want you to have, dye your hair.
An HD face, you know what I mean? It has to be that like helmet hair and stuff.
Right. They want you to have the look. And then women get older and, all of a sudden that's not what they're looking for anymore. And so I see why she's hanging it up.
Yeah, I wonder if it's contract stuff. I mean, obviously, it's an expensive business. She's been there so long. I'm sure, contract renewals, they're like, we're only going to pay you this much. And she's like, screw it, I'm getting out of it. It's a hard gig, if you get it. But I think that I know, and I'm not going to say her name. If you know me, and if you've known me for a long time, you know who I'm talking about. There used to be this one news anchor. And this is why, again, I wouldn't go into TV news. And it was a woman. And I just... from like little, I could not stand her hair. Like it bothered me. It wasn't, in my opinion, well kept enough to be on television every day. Yep. And like every time she would be on my screen, I'd be like, why does nobody do anything about this woman's hair? Like it just bothered me. And then as I got older, I was kicking myself. I'm like, that is so effed up that like this woman is a longtime anchor. She's doing a job, but that's women. And did I ever mention anything about the men? No. Never
Did
once.
you ever mention anything about the job she did? Was she a kick-ass reporter or a kick-ass anchor?
She had the job for decades.
I have two stories.
Okay.
My sister was started in TV news, first at Reading. Then she went to Sacramento. And then finally at ABC7 in San Francisco.
Oh, nice.
So she worked her way up. She thought she wanted to be in news because I think she was kind of just following in my footsteps in a way.
Okay.
So I was radio, she was TV. That's how we were going to, do it.
Do it.
She was miserable.
Oh.
Miserable. She would get emails all the time after stories saying, you have the worst eyeshadow.
Exactly.
I hate your shirt. Your hair is awful. People would actually email her and tell her, like, comment on her appearance. It was awful.
Yeah.
My other story is I used to do a little TV. I used to do traffic for Sal Castaneda. I was his fill-in person.
On Channel 2.
Because we worked in the same office, the same traffic office. And he's like, hey, fill in for me when I'm out. Sure, no problem. I'm not a TV person. He's like, it doesn't matter. Just come on in and do some traffic. So I did this great report. where I broke news, like there was a fire and I was listening to the scanner. So I like broke news. I had the backups. Like it was I thought a perfect report.
Right.
And the hotline rings right afterward because there's like from the director to you. There's a little
head,
phone on your desk.
Exactly. Answer it every time.
I'm thinking, they're going to tell me that was a really good report. Right. She's like, can you put your hair behind you?
Yeah. That's it. That's all they had to say. It
looks like you're sitting for a portrait. Can you put your hair behind you? Yeah. Okay. Sure, no problem. And I thought, this is what the difference between TV and radio is. Mm-hmm. It's substance. In radio, it's all substance.
Yeah, because that's all you have.
Personality and substance, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And do you have the facts right? Are you thinking logically? Are you thinking clearly? Are you, I don't know.
It's the
paint
job.
A picture with your words.
Exactly.
It's nothing about your appearance. It's just about your skills.
Exactly.
Where then you click on TV and even here on YouTube, then it becomes about your appearance and do people like the way you look? Mm-hmm. And that's not what the substance is.
Nope. And that's why I would never do it. I mean, we do this show and I'll be honest. I mean, I think I would I've gotten comments more on social media, like posts that I'll do versus like this show. I don't think I've ever, I don't want to get any, so don't start. But anything like that's really derogatory, like I didn't like your shirt or I didn't like your hair or whatever. I think I might have gotten one or two when the show first started.
Sure.
And then people just get used to it. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is how I look, deal with it,
Right.
But television news, when they bring in the consultants, right? And they're like, we think that you look better with no sleeves. We think you should wear your hair straight, and I'll give props to another local station in the Bay Area, ABC7. They allow their women of color that are on their station to wear their hair natural. And a lot of them are African American or of mixed race. And so they have very curly hair. And I think I've shared this story before. I was at an awards ceremony. I had won, I think, 3 awards, 1 for the station and 2 for an individual. And I was talking to a bunch of people, and I'll never forget, there was this one news director, a black man. And we were sitting around and we were talking, and there's always the conversation, hey, would you ever want to go into television? And I was like, and I said the same thing. I wouldn't want to be judged on my looks, and I wouldn't want to straighten my hair. I don't like, how I look with straight hair. And he's like, yeah, nobody wants to see curly hair on the television.
I just think that's so incorrect.
Well, nowadays, this was back in the day. This was before I even had my daughter. You know what I mean? And I mean, back in the day, but it was, 15 years ago. And
2 examples. On dates on ABC7 when she started, when she just was like, forget it, I'm going curly.
Right.
And you know what? She looks beautiful.
And you remember
Dana King from CBS?
Yes,
5,
exactly.
KPIX? And she decided not only was she going to go natural, she was going to go curly.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Not gray, rather. She was going to go gray and natural. And she looked amazing. I think you get to a certain point in your career, you're like, you know what? I don't care.
Yeah.
You either want me for my skills that I bring, and she had a way of speaking that made you really care about the story. She was incredible.
She was excellent. Excellent artist as well. She's done this whole second career in art, and she's just absolutely amazing. Kamasi, who's on ABC7's Morning News, she wears her hair natural. Sometimes she wears it straight. Oh, and she just there's a bunch of women. I mean, I could go down the laundry list of women that have been, busting open that door since the Crown Act passed, where you cannot be discriminated against because of your hair, which is awesome but when you put it into practice, when you have to sit there and when there's consultants judging you and emails from listeners and viewers, beyond your clothes, with your hair, your makeup, it's hard. It's a tough gig. And that's why I never wanted to do it. I have one more story that I want to do. And I know that it actually happened Friday. And then I guess tonight we'll see the new iteration. I don't really watch the show very much. I haven't watched it in years. I mean, I catch it sometimes on replay if I'm just sitting around making dinner. But Pat Sajak signed off from Wheel of Fortune on Friday. This was his, I'm just going to play a little bit. I won't play the whole entire thing. This was a little bit of his sign off and just kind of talking about being in people's homes, on their TVs for so freaking long.
Well, the time has come to say goodbye. I have a few thanks and acknowledgments before I go. And I want to start with all of you watching out there. It's been an incredible privilege to be invited into millions of homes, night after night, year after year, decade after decade. And I've always felt that the privilege came with a responsibility to keep this daily half hour a safe place for family fun.
Safe place.
No social issues, no politics, nothing embarrassing, I hope. Just a game. And gradually, it became more than that. A place where kids learn their letters, people from other countries hone their English skills, Families came together along with friends and neighbors and entire generations. What an honor to have played even a small part in all that. Thank you for allowing me into your lives.
Now, my question, of course, is they did extend Vanna White's contract.
Yeah.
Because Ryan Seacrest is going to be the new host. But I'm telling you, if you want to talk about a woman that's been on television every day, Monday through Friday, for decades, Vanna freaking White is the queen. Like, and the fact that they kept her now, I feel like it's just a year. I could be wrong about that. I don't think that they extended her contract for very long. Because remember, she was also looking for a pay raise.
I thought it was 2 years.
Is it 2 years? Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was been extended through the 2026 season. I think they did that to kind of bridge the gap to get people used to Wheel of Fortune. Because if you replace both of them at the exact same time, then people might just turn the whole damn thing off. But they're like, you know what? Vanna's still there. Pat is retired. Let's do it. I feel like this might be the end of the Wheel of Fortune, though. Unless Ryan Seacrest can really do something. I don't know, but I mean, you know what? Jeopardy's still on, and Alex Trebek passed away, sadly. So, I mean, who knows? But I just love Vanna White and the fact that she's been able to do this. And, you know,
it makes sense to me that she would stick around because they're now she fought for more money.
Right.
And so finally she's going to get a big paycheck. And maybe before she retires, she needed that. Because she was making not very much when compared to his check.
Oh, God, no. Like a fraction.
Now she's going to get like a chunk that maybe will allow her to have more comfort and security. So
yeah, but I don't think, I mean, come on, let's see. Vanna White's net worth. I mean, she's worth an estimated $85 million.
What? Really?
Yeah. According to parade.com. Yes, Pat Sajak's annual salary may be higher, but she has diversified her portfolio, her assets, and invested wisely. She has an estimated net worth of $85 million, and that's actually $15 million more than Pat Sajak's $70 million worth. So, smart cookie right there.
Get it, friend. Right on.
But I think that just the fact that she was out there as well, and I know she wasn't the host. She wasn't. I'm not saying her job compared to Pat Sajak's was the same, but I just applaud Vanna White, honestly, like, you know, for sticking it out. Hopefully they can make some magic together with her and Ryan Seacrest. But I'm going to also put my bet on what Pat Sajak's going to do. And he's going to be a right-wing commentator. That's what I think.
You think so?
Oh, God, yeah. He's a total righty. So I'm not saying an alt-right. I'm not saying alt-right. I'm just saying a right-wing, Republican, conservative commentator. I betcha. So, because he's been a little outspoken in recent years over social media and stuff like that. So I could kind of see him, you know, playing with politics a little bit more than he had when he was the host of the Wheel of Fortune. All right, that's our show. You guys click the thumbs up button, show your support. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about this. It's a little bit to do with politics, but it has more to do with the Supreme Court. Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson has disclosed that she got Beyonce concert tickets. So we're going to talk about how do we feel when it's the other side. President Biden's having this huge fundraiser this month with a bunch of celebrities coming. Does that say something to you? Does that, you know, does having celebrities support you really mean something when November comes around? We'll talk about that. And then we have to talk about this viral, like, kind of public comment that's been going on regarding shopping carts and whether or not you return the cart if your kids are in the car.
Because this woman, wait to talk about this with you. I cannot wait.
This woman gave a big F you to everybody that thinks she should return her cart. So we'll talk about that as well. Click the thumbs up button to show your support, and please consider donating to the show. Just go to thenikkimadoroshow.com. And you could donate any amount you can. And if you could bump it up, we would absolutely appreciate it. We know that this show is in a new iteration, but we still want to do it. And we want to be here for you guys, but we have to make it at least financially feasible for us to do that. So go to thenikkimadoroshow.com. The Patreon link is there. Also, if you like PayPal, you go paypal.com, you click the send button, and you put in the email address, thenikkimadoroshow@gmail.com, thenikkimadoroshow@gmail.com. Super chats live as well. And then it's summer. Bust out that barbecue and make sure you have Auntie Tabby's Island Flavor sauces. She has hot sauces, a pineapple, a hibiscus, and a guava barbecue sauce that is delicious. I'm telling you, you have to try it. And if you try it, please let us know. Give us your review and tell us. And use the coupon code Nick Kim, NIKKIM. you'll get 10% off every single time you order. 10% off every single time you order. You won't regret it. It's absolutely delicious. All right. We will talk again tomorrow. I appreciate you guys so much. Mwah. Bye-bye.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. You're proud, like a beautiful blossom. You're all so the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.